Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Hey everybody, it's Duncan Olney here, host of the Firebelly Social Show, and here we are with another episode, and I'm joined by my co-host Arnell. What's up, Arnell?
What's up, everybody?
And we are so excited. We've got a great guest today. And as you know, on the Firebelly Social Show, we talk to CEOs and founders of mission-driven food and beverage brands. And gosh, we've had some really cool guests lately. We had Jamba Dunn recently from Rowdy Mermaid and Samantha Abrams from Emmy's Organics. And we've got a great guest today. But before we get into that, Arnell, do you have a sponsor message for us today?
I do have a sponsorship message. So first, hey, everybody, all of our listeners, thank you again for tuning in to this latest episode of the Firebelly Social Show. We have a great show lined up for you today, talking with Ray, founder of purpose-driven brand Lucky Jack Cold Brew. This episode is brought to you by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
Hey, welcome.
Nice.
I'm just going to call you Doctor. Dr. Ray, welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you.
Well, you know.
Nice to be here.
Nice to have you. And I'm calling you Doctor because you're the doctor of coffee. So you're the CEO of Lucky Jack Coffee, and your background is in transformation. You've transformed brands along the way, and most recently you were heavily involved with Jillian Michaels and building that media empire. So we're super excited to have you here. And let's kick off by talking a little bit about transformation and what your approach and philosophy is when it comes to transforming brands.
Particularly with the food and beverage industry, the first thing that you need is a quality product. And what's important before you get ready to build a brand and explode it is something that the consumer, regardless of what kind of consumer it is, the consumer recognizes as value for their dollar and value in the product that they're making. So as a launching pad, this is the paramount to being able to grow and expand and accelerate the awareness and sales and business of any type of product.
So adding value, I love it. Absolutely insightful. And
consumers these days, as you all know, are very keen to what they're getting and what quality is and what's important to them. And so, when you focus on that, the rest of it's not, I wouldn't say easy, but it's easier to fall into place if you have that as a foundation.
And let's talk about Lucky Jack. Give us the story. What makes Lucky Jack unique, and what are some of the things that go into that?
Yeah, Lucky Jack is actually a very unique product, particularly in the cold brew space, but in the coffee space in general. We have several proprietary methods that we use here at our in-house manufacturing process that we've developed over the years. Our founder developed many of them that add that quality. And in cold brew coffee, one of the qualities that you're looking for are a very low acidic, smooth mouthfeel taste when someone's drinking primarily a black coffee. There's nowhere to hide, right? Like it's not, we have lattes, but there's no milk, there's no sugar, the coffee has to be pure because there's really just coffee and water. And so the bean selection, the brewing process, I'm not going in order, the bean selection, the roasting process, the brewing process, and then ultimately the filling of the bottles, which we do with the addition of nitrogen to hold the taste and to keep those high quality attributes that we put into the earlier stages of making the product into the bottle, so that quality of the coffee product is sustained in the bottle until it reaches the consumer's hands, and quite frankly, until they consume it.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. You go, Arnell.
Yeah. I was just saying it's really interesting, just the scientific and technological approach to serving and preserving the coffee itself. I know you guys, a big part of your brand and Lucky Jack is, organic ingredients and, healthy ingredients, organic ingredients. So tell me a little bit more about that, because it's, to what you mentioned earlier, a lot of people are looking for quality products. And, when you're talking about quality first, a lot of people look to those things before they consume.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And particularly with coffee, a little known fact is that coffee, non-organic coffee, is one of the crops in agriculture that is sprayed the most with insecticides. And as you guys probably know, products that are sprayed with insecticides, that seeps into the actual, coffee comes in a shell, so it is protected a little bit. But when you get into something like a grape that has a thin skin, that insecticide, you don't peel the skin off a grape anyway, but that's going to get inside to the grape. Something like a watermelon that has a very thick rind, it's not unimportant, but it's less important because the insecticides can't seep into the actual fruit that you drink or eat with watermelon, right? With coffee, it's really highly sprayed because of the bugs. The non-organic coffee is. Now, it does have a protective shell when it's sprayed before it's harvested, but still, it is the second most insecticide sprayed crop in the world. And so picking organic beans that don't have insecticides is very, very important for the health benefits of that coffee. There's quite a few other things, and we advertise the organic, but there's a list of criteria that we have for all of our coffee farms that deal with the altitude of the coffee, the region that it comes from, the defects, the size of the bean, the denseness of the bean, the moisture of the bean. And so it's expensive, but we pride ourselves on using only the best Arabica beans really on the planet. We source from all over the world.
Wow.
And for our listeners that may not be familiar, I know it's hard to believe, but if we're taking an egalitarian approach, who are not familiar with cold brewed nitro coffee, give them the scoop. Like what makes it what it is?
Sure. So cold brew coffee came about because of the bitterness taste of black coffee in general, black coffee. And by brewing without heat, so we brew for 20 hours in cold water, you get the bean have a chance. Where the taste comes from is the relationship of the water and the coffee. So with a Cura cup, the relationship of the water and the coffee is the shortest time possible to make a cup of coffee. It's maybe 10 seconds, right? You put the cup in, you push the button, and 10 seconds later, you have a cup of coffee. So the water and the coffee really didn't have a lot of opportunity for the taste to get into the water from the coffee. When you brew traditionally on your stovetop, it takes maybe, 12 minutes, depending on how you brew it. So there's more of a relationship with the coffee and the water. With cold brew coffee, as I said, we brew for 20 hours. So the coffee beans and the water are together for 20 hours, and it's in a cold brew process. It happens slower, but because we brew for so long, there's much more time for the goodness, the taste to come out of the coffee and get into the actual water, which becomes liquid-based coffee. And by doing it cold, you reduce the acidic taste that comes along with that as well. So there's this double benefit of cold brew coffee. And that's how cold brew coffee became known as very, in general, smooth, low acidic tasting, a good mouthfeel coffee. And that's what, and coffee connoisseurs respond to that. Coffee drinkers respond to that. And it becomes like a wine almost. You pick your cold brew coffee that tastes the best for you. But that's how the whole industry kind of came about and how it works.
That's amazing. I must try some of the product and try it at home as well. I'm sort of a recent convert to daily pour overs, and it is such a dramatic difference to drink a French press. We did a side by side yesterday to drink a French press brewed hot coffee versus a pour over hot coffee, and we're doing things by weight, and the mouthfeel is dramatic. So I can only imagine sort of like almost the feel of a Gewürztraminer or a Riesling versus a Shiraz. It's just a very smooth experience. But what about innovation, Dr. Ray? What's the story with innovation? How the doctor of coffee? How much of a part of
I hope the fact checkers don't get onto that. Start checking whether I'm a doctor or not.
What role does innovation play in your daily life as the helmsman of Lucky Jack?
Sure. We've done a lot of innovation lately. So, and I mentioned the innovation in the birth of Lucky Jack coffee and the things that we do. But in the last few years, we've taken that to the next level. We launched in 2021 an oat milk latte. And these are organic as well, USD organic. It's the same bean coffee base that we use in our black coffee, and sourced the same way and brewed the same way and all that. But to address the consumers who don't drink black coffee and prefer a latte type product, we've come out with a very, very innovative oat milk lattes. Oat milk is, I call it the Goldilocks of whiteners for coffee. And I say Goldilocks because it has no dairy in it, so the lactose intolerant people can drink it. It's not a nut milk based, like an almond milk or a coconut based whitener, so the nut allergen people can drink it. So it satisfies the largest consumer crowd out there. And there's other oat milk lattes on the market. Other people have caught on to this. As you probably know, oat milk, just in general, bottled oat milk has become very popular lately for a lot of those reasons. We mix it with our coffee, and so that in and of itself is innovative. But the innovation that Lucky Jack has brought to the market with this is that we've been able to formulate through some world-class food scientists. Our oat milk lattes have the lowest calorie and lowest sugar content on the market by far. Some folks have triple the amount of sugar and 2 or 3 times the amount of calories per can than we do on a volume for volume basis. The other innovative product that we've come out with is 3 functional oat milk lattes, but one of them is very, very unique. We call it the golden milk with turmeric. And it's got turmeric in it, but it's also got several other functional ingredients. In fact, there's 1,240 milligrams of functional ingredients in our 7.5 ounce can of oat milk latte. It's significant. The turmeric taste, as you know, that there's a lot of health benefits to turmeric, but it can be a little off-putting. That taste to certain consumers isn't the best in mouthfeel. So we do things like we add cinnamon to it to kind of even out that sharpness of the turmeric and bring in a little bit of the sweetness of cinnamon. And the combination, after many, many tests with these food scientists, the combination, the formula that we landed on is just a great tasting golden milk turmeric coffee latte made USD organic, made with oat milk as the whitener for the latte. And with the 1,200 milligrams of functional ingredients in it and all the health benefits that go along with turmeric and cinnamon, there's cardamom in it, ginger, coffee, obviously. It's a phenomenal, innovative coffee product where people can consume their nutrients, really, and their functional nutrients simply by drinking a Lucky Jack coffee.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it comes back to the zero compromise philosophy that you guys have, which was something that is, I wanted to ask you about that. But the fact that cardamom, which is such an amazing, amazing spice, it's so aromatic, it adds so much flavor to food, and it's kind of relegated to pies and like desserts in the United States. So I love the fact that it's in your drink first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Yep, it's a very unique product. That particular product has a huge repeat customer base. The people who buy it and sample it for the first time, they often come back and repurchase. We also have a mocha adaptogen oat milk latte and a vanilla collagen oat milk latte. And again, there's other folks who are doing those, but that golden milk turmeric is the only coffee oat milk latte on the market that's like it. It's a very unique and innovative product.
Yeah, that golden milk sounds really good. It sounds like something I would definitely be interested in trying. So I have
you can get them on Amazon for $34.99.
Yeah, I do Amazon or do the local Whole Foods or Sprouts. But it really sounds delicious.
The name of the product is the oat milk latte, or is it called the golden milk latte?
Yeah, it's Lucky Jack, and it says golden milk + turmeric.
Super cool. So, hey, everyone, definitely. Rarely do we say this, but that just sounds like an amazing product. So definitely check that out. And I know we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that you're excited about. What's happening in your world right now with Lucky Jack that you're super pumped about?
Well, the canned lattes have been a big push for us since 2021. We launched with 4 SKUs. We just launched 2 more this year: the mocha adaptogen and the vanilla collagen. So now we have 3 pure functional oat milk latte beverages together with our 3 classics. So that product line has 6 SKUs in it now. The classics being mocha, vanilla, and caramel. Obviously, we have our black coffee business that we've had for years. And then this year, we launched our bagged coffee products, which are flavored coffee. Once again, they're USD organic. They have the same beans in it that we use for all of our other coffee products. So the quality is there in the beans. And we flavor each one of the bags with 3 different flavors. We have a flavor profile called Siren Song, another one called Kraken, and another one called Moonraker. And each one of these bags have 3 different flavor profiles in it. So we actually flavor the ground beans before we bag it and ship it out. So that's our innovation for our most recent innovation for this year. And that's available at Fresh Time Market online, of course, and on our own website, but it's also available at Fresh Time Market and Save Market, places like that.
Wonderful. Awesome. Arnell, what's your question today?
Well, I wanted to talk to you about one other thing that we're doing in an innovative way. This is a bit of a look inside under the hood. We are very close to being able to launch our bag coffee in 100% compostable bags. So not only is the product inside coffee bag going to be organic and better for you, but the bags themselves will be, once we accomplish this, will be 100% compostable. Hopefully they'll be coming to market soon.
It's really cool that the bag is compostable. And just the overall sustainability vibe, of Lucky Jack cold brew, we think is just totally awesome.
Thank you for that. Actually, one thing I didn't mention, sorry to interrupt, Arnell, is that you probably picked up on this, but we don't use any plastic in any of our packaging. So the black coffee is in glass bottles. The cans are aluminum cans, which is probably the most sustainable vessel you could use. And then, of course, the bags themselves, when we come out with a compostable, are not plastic.
Yeah, that's really interesting because a lot of people, I don't remember the exact number of the statistic that I saw, but it was something over like 40% of people they do care about sustainability, and they will choose other brands who have more sustainable practices. And so I love that you're doing that. I'm sure a lot of your customers love that you're doing that. Another just personal question for you. How has your relationship with coffee changed as, you gotten into Lucky Jack cold brew? Of course, I'm sure you love cold brew, but how did it change and develop for you?
Well, I certainly drink a lot more coffee than I ever had before. We're constantly doing testing and taste sampling here at the office, so I'm pretty caffeinated throughout the day. But yeah, I used to just drink black coffee and didn't think about it really much. And get it from, the local 7-Eleven in the morning as I made my way to work, or on the weekend, I would make it on my stove. But yeah, I do now drink a lot of cold brew, and I really enjoy the canned lattes that we have. The combination I mentioned how low our calorie and sugar content is compared to the competition, but I didn't mention this, but our caffeine content is almost twice as high as the others as well. And so the combination of the higher caffeine, which is more of a natural lift, energy lift than a sugar, right? Mm-hmm. With that combination of low sugar and higher caffeine, the pick-me-up you get when you drink a can of that, particularly like a mid-afternoon, snack or beverage, is great because you don't fall off that sugar cliff, right? And so the higher caffeine, lower sugar raises you up in your energy, and you just kind of float there and slowly come down. So I drink a lot of those, and particularly in the afternoon, around 2:00 or whatever. And it's just, it's a great change to my personal coffee consumption that's happened really since we launched them.
Yeah, I bet. I think it's interesting. You mentioned the lower sugar and also lower carbs. Was that intentional, especially, with your history with Jillian? Is that something that you guys planned, or is it just something that has happened because of the ingredients you choose and everything like that?
No, that was planned. The lower calorie and lower sugar, which go kind of hand in hand. There was a mandate that we gave our food scientists prior to even starting that these are the targets that we want to not go beyond the sugar content and calorie content that we have today. So they nailed it, the food scientists, and that's how we got there.
So cool.
It's important to give that direction because they could come up with anything, right? And they could come up with a great tasting, high sugar or high chocolatey drink if you wanted, and they probably would because it's easier. Costs more money, obviously. It takes more time, but because of our roots and our zero compromise and Jillian and her background, these were our criteria that we held them to.
That's super cool. What do you do to stay inspired?
Well, all this stuff inspires me. The innovative product. I've been working on these compostable bags now for over a year. Also working on compostable K-cups for over a year. All these things keep me going to try to, push the needle, make the product inside the consumption product highest quality, and of course the sustainability of the company and the vessels, if it's a beverage, or the bags, if it's a ground coffee or a K-cup, and make that as sustainable and as environmentally friendly as possible.
Well, super cool. Well, we really have enjoyed our conversation with you. And I think the fact that there's so many things that are just fascinating and interesting kind of hooks to buy your product, not just deliciousness, but there's so many other quality related reasons to go out and get your product. I'm really excited about it. Everyone, you've been listening to another episode of the social show, Firebelly Social Show, with Duncan Arnell. And Arnell, you want to take us away with the sponsor message again?
Absolutely, Duncan. So this episode is brought to you by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use your social media to create more community and more excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
And one last thing, Dr. Ray, As far as everyone finding you, it's luckyjackcoffee.com and Lucky Jack Coffee on all the social media platforms. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
All right, everyone, you got your homework. When you've listened to this, definitely check it out. And thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.